It started with former President Donald Trump, who surrendered and was booked at an Atlanta jail yesterday. The former commander-in-chief posted bond and exited the facility in a process that we're told took about 20 minutes. But there's no doubt that process is going to play a major role in the 2024 presidential elections and very likely the future of our entire country. Well, joining me now to discuss this and more is Congressman Ralph Norman. He serves on the House Budget Committee, also the Financial Services Committee, and the Rules Committee. He's also a great friend and a member of the House Freedom Caucus. He represents the 5th Congressional District of South Carolina. Congressman Norman, great to see you. Welcome back to Washington Watch.
Jody, we miss you in Washington, D.C. That's my message. God, you did a good job while you were there. But you're doing a good job now with the Tony Perkins and his crew.
Well, thank you, Ralph, very much. And listen, I miss you. I miss all the crew. And I miss those times in the Conservative Opportunity Society, which you chair, and the wonderful breakfast that we had every week. I miss that. Well, let's get started into this. First, this whole issue with President Trump and the jail, the booking yesterday. And, of course, it's currently the jail there is under a federal investigation for cruel treatment of its prisoners. But give me your take on this.
Well, Jody, it's a persecution of the former president. It's a persecution, and this administration has weaponized every agency of government. And for your listeners, they're coming after us. It could be us next. And what they're doing to Donald Trump is not right. It's not fair. It started off, look at the timing. It started off in, I think, February of 21. This is 23. Fannie Willis has made a fundraiser out of this to prosecute, President Trump and 18 others under the RICO statute, which is racketeering. It's unbelievable, but that's why this election is so important. That's why we don't want the persecution of other people. What about, the Biden administration? I mean, they have so much on them. They're the ones that ought to be looking at the probe, but the media won't cover that. And they sure covered Donald Trump. They sure covered his mugshot. And, it's a travesty for our legal system. It's a travesty for the country.
Well, it really is. I was very much interested to see, though, that the Judiciary Committee under Jim Jordan looks like they're going to have a probe into Georgia's Fulton County's district attorney regarding her motives for prosecuting former President Trump. And their reason for the probe is concerns about her motive. That was all politically driven, as really you're alluding to. Are you inclined to agree with that it was a politically driven prosecution?
That's all it is. And Jim Jordan's letter, which he sent out August 24th, which demanding records, demanding any federal dollars that came into her office. And, we've got to have testimony from Mr. Weiss and so many others. But no, Jim Jordan's exactly right to ask this in this letter, lay it out. What she's doing is so obvious it's political. That's all it can be. And she made her motives known prior to this. Look at the timing that they took to do this right before the primaries and right before the debates. And they want to make President Trump look as bad as he is. It's having the opposite effect, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it really is. It looks like every time it gets indicted or something, he just takes another surge in the polls. If I can switch gears with you a little bit, the Biden administration, I don't know if you saw this or not. I think you probably did, especially in light of what's recently happened in South Carolina. But the Biden administration has launched a $25 million ad campaign pushing its abortion policies and targeting specifically some of the Republican presidential candidates the other night who were so strong on their pro-life messages. Your thoughts on the administration putting this kind of campaign against some pro-life candidates?
They're using this as a wedge issue, Jody. I mean, instead of talking about the serious things that are affecting this country, like inflation, like our crisis at the border, like our crime in the streets, like our overspending, like our woke military, they're using anything they can to divide and to put out lies about the candidates. And if Joe Biden has no record to run on, and it's kind of like what the Social Security that the Democrats always did is Grandy being pushed over the cliff. They're doing the same thing with the abortion issue. And this is a socialist party that agrees with abortion on demand. They agree with that killing a child is medical care, and they're willing to do it right up to a perfectly healthy baby that's been born. It's so tragic, and but that's what we're facing, and that's why it's so important to stop this party from doing what they're doing. And the only way you do it is you beat them and you throw them out of office.
Yeah, and you mentioned, I mean, they support, many of them at least, if not all of them, that support abortion right up to birth. And of course, Jen Psaki, you probably saw her tweet saying that no one supports abortion until birth. But the one that she worked for does. Al Franken said something similar. Your response to that?
Well, I've had them at hearings, Jody, when I was on the oversight committee. And, they tried to dodge the question, but, and I asked them point blank, would they kill a child? And that's the only way you can describe it. Would they kill a perfectly healthy child upon birth? And they kept going back to abortion was health care, which it's not. Killing a child is not health care. I also asked them whether they would, when currently in law, if a pregnant mother gets killed, it's double homicide. Would they agree to, if it's not killing the child, do away with that law? But it's hypocrisy at its highest. They support the death of children. And I'm glad the candidates took the position they did, different ones, but they took a position of life. And that's what this country was founded on, not killing our unborn.
Well, absolutely. And speaking of that, congratulations to your state of South Carolina with the major pro-life victory when your state Supreme Court rejected a challenge to the heartbeat law earlier this week. I know that had to thrill you.
Well, it thrilled me 4-1. The heartbeat bill, Steve King was always led the fight on this, but you cannot have an abortion. Typically, that's at 6 weeks when you detect a heartbeat. So they passed that, and it's what a wonderful gift to the state that the state Supreme Court did. It's the right decision. We're a pro-life state, and it was a great day for South Carolina, a great day for the nation, really.
It really was. Well, listen, we've only got about a minute left. House Freedom Caucus released a statement on what it will take for them to support a continuing resolution to fund the government. Are you on board with that? And what do you anticipate happening with this financial battle coming up in September?
Absolutely, Jody. This is what the fight was in January when the 5 of us and then the 20 of us, had a understanding with the speaker. But no, our position is that, we've got to have the cap and spending of the pre-COVID levels of $1.47 trillion. We've got to stop the weaponization of the DOJ, border security, end the woke military, take the dollars out of that. And unless we get that, he can't pass it. And we got the 80%, as you know, that's required for the Freedom Caucus. And, the threat of a government shutdown, bring it on. If that's what they want to if that's what they threaten us with, then do it. Because if not now, when? This is common sense things. And
that's right.
If we can't have agreement on this, it's a sad day in the country.
Congressman Ralph Norman from South Carolina, thank you for joining us on Washington Watch. Keep the torch ablaze, my friend.